do with, may I hold this? Thank you. My question has to do with Lockheed Martin. They're the biggest defense contractor in the world, and the New York Times reported today that they acquired Sikorsky helicopter for the tune of $7.1 billion. And the reason why I bring that up is because they also lobby government. They spend $16 million a year to lobby our government to sell us weapons. So my question is, how can we ensure that our foreign policy reflects our actual security interests and not the profit motive of large corporations?
Boy, that sounds like a tough question, doesn't it? Well, I want to tell you a really good story. What year was it? See, it took 10 years of my life, so it would have been about 1990. I go to this meeting, and it was this big, secret briefing on this new stealth bomber, the B-2 bomber. I go to this meeting, and they tell me that, and there have been a lot of stories written. I'm going to tell you how I remember it. Maybe I remember it wrong, but I don't think so. They tell me that this plane is going to fly in the middle, inside the Soviet Union, in the middle of a nuclear war to drop more nuclear weapons. And I'm thinking, how many nuclear weapons does it take to ruin your entire day and destroy your whole country? Why do we need to do this? So let's buy a few of them. Actually, a baker's dozen, 13 is what I propose. And we should take the savings and then develop these things called standoff weapons, where you don't have to fly over the target, where you can be way out here, you don't put anybody at risk, and you can still have lethality and accuracy to get done what you want to get done. And I got together with this guy by the name of Ron Dellums. And Ron is an African-American, very liberal guy, was in Congress with me. And we got together to announce that we were going to try to limit production of the B-2. They were going to buy 132 of them, and they were going to cost about $1 billion apiece. So here's John Kasich and Ron Dellums, the odd couple. Now, we had no PAC money to pass out. We had no visit to Palmdale, California to look at any of this stuff. It's not a bad place to go in January. And all we could offer them was a cold cup of coffee. After 10 years, I reached agreement with Dick Cheney that we would build only 20 of them. And that's what happened. And I am told, and we have to check the record, I think it is the only time in the 20th century that a weapons system was limited by the Congress. Now, I did that because I don't want to spend all that money. I want to have a strong defense. We need to have a lethal defense. We need to have a mobile defense. You know what? I have to tell you, I don't care who gives me any money. What does that matter? Look, I've now been around this stuff for a long time. I look in the mirror, and I got to be true to who I am. Okay? That's just the way it works. Now, I also want to tell you that our defense contractors do some remarkable things. And they're not just giving us weapons to, just because we can have more weapons. We have enemies. I mean, we all know this. We know we need a larger Navy because we can't have the Chinese taking over the South China Sea. We have to have the activity and the expertise and the resources to go destroy ISIS. I mean, we're not going to do that with rubber bands. So, but the point that you make is the threat ought to determine what we buy and what we need. And I agree with you. The other thing that I hear about sometimes is infrastructure. Well, don't close our base down. I go to some states, are you going to close our base down? I said, look, we should only have that infrastructure that we need, because if we are putting money where it shouldn't go, then our men and women in the uniform are not going to have what they need. So it is simple, but it's complicated. But the guiding star has always been that for me. Buy what you need and pay no attention to all the squawking that goes on out there. By the way, I was at Pease Air Force Base, a pretty nice place. That's a place where they took lemons and they made lemonade, and I'm all in favor of that. So, thank you.